In this video, I'll be covering the match between G2 Esports and Team Empire, held on Playday 9 of the 10th season of EU Pro League. So, we know that Team Empire always bans Capitão and Mira. We've covered Capitão and Mira on Consulate quite extensively through the past 3 out of 4 videos between TSM and G2. But G2 will decide to ban some interesting ops here, the first being Nook. When Nook first came out last season during Phantom Sight, I thought that she'd be extremely powerful in Pro League. The reason why I thought Nook would be relevant in Pro League is because Pro League relies heavily on intel, such as default cams, black eyes, evil eyes, yokai drones, etc. And Nook compromises the accuracy of that intel. As long as she is an operator that attacking teams can pick, defenders play with a bit of uncertainty that what they're looking at is truly accurate and something that they can relay to their teammates with 100% certainty. On the other side, G2 will ban Smoke. So Smoke is an operator that a lot of teams take for granted that he won't be banned. Maestro and Echo are always banned because they're those plant denial ops, but Smoke is too. And I've always wondered why people don't target Smoke more. In any case, the reason why you would ban Smoke is, one, Smoke delays teams from pushing a choke point for 45 seconds, up to 45 seconds. And also, he is probably the most vital operator for creating soft destruction outside of mute. And knowing some of Team Empire's defensive setups, because I've copied some and tried using some on CL teams, I know that Team Empire has a heavy focus and lots of setup around the Smoke play. So banning Smoke is extremely disruptive to a team who is often joked as being very linear and predictable.
Something a little bit different, but that means Echo's available, something that can somewhat slot in for Smoke in a second.
As Miso notes, the big thing here is Maestro, Echo, both on the board, and we'll actually see that Team Empire is going to bring both of those ACOG operators in the Maestro and Echo. You don't have a way to delay for 45 seconds anymore. You have a way to stop plant. That's what you have. From G2, lots of soft breach, right? In the buck and the sledge. IQ is important because there's Valkyries, there's Echo still. There's plenty of utility here on the board too that IQ can detect. Actually, all the utility IQ can detect. Thermite's necessary because you're playing on Cafeteria and Garage. And we will have a 6 from Uno onto Nomad. Nomad's very strong on Consulate because while Consulate's a very long map, it is a very narrow map too. So you can shut down those rotates. And a player like Joystick on the Jaeger is someone who moves a lot through the map. Let's take a look at reinforcements. So the ones that I caught, and there weren't many that I was able to see, were the 3 on triple wall, 1 on security, and they love this 1 reinforcement so that they can play long angles in security safely onto garage wall and contest the entry, as well as a reinforcement on cafeteria, the same idea, except a lot of times players, teams, specifically Team Empire, will stand on top of the cafeteria table and get longer and get a vertical, sort of speak, angle onto garage wall. That's 5 reinforcements. I only caught the next 2, which were the hatch in public bathroom and the main lobby hatch as well. So having used Team Empire strats, they would normally have a smoke, open up some soft destruction there, and then lob gas canisters all the way from this long haul over into white. They can't do that anymore, and I also don't think they create any of that soft destruction because the smoke's no longer there. Worth mentioning too that Team Empire has brought Mute and Mozzie. Team Empire, to my knowledge, loves the SAS operators quite a bit, and Mozzie obviously supplements or replaces, at this point, the smoke who would have been able to create the soft destruction that Team Empire needed. You want to know why Joystick's such a good player? You're about to see why. Sledge throws in a drone into admin. Immediately, Joystick shoots that drone and then leaves admin. What does the Sledge do? The Sledge is looking for the player that's in admin who no longer exists there. So now G2 needs to drone out admin again. And even though it didn't really stall G2 all that much, it should have, if it at least required more utility to be thrown in order to figure out where Joystick was, or really wasn't, and he isn't in admin. So Karzeka is supposed to support Jaeger, who was playing in console just a second ago. Jaeger rotates into the main lobby. It just so happens that Sledge, with the timing, is already in meeting and can peek down the hatch, and Jaeger is caught out of position. Jaeger dedicates an ADS to console office right here, which means that there was some intention of wasting time in console, but I think what happened is G2 started collapsing around console with the Sledge meeting, with a player, Pengu, on repel of console as well. And the pressure was simply too much for Jaeger to continue to play there. They decided to rotate down into piano and then into main lobby, but Sledge was actually looking down the hatch of meeting. And that's the kill.
Everyone in the garage first. At least they'll know where everyone's at once that garage door opens. There is a yokai to support the roam play up here on the spiral stairs, and Fabian so far coming a little bit worse the wear for it. He's going to try and fight it.
Aggressive echo play. Is it worth losing a yokai drone over? Probably not, because it didn't net a kill.
That was a Dan, I believe.
And I think that because of the smoke ban, you need to play your plant denial much more conservatively. You can't use it really to assist in supporting any kind of roam or lurk, simply because time is not on your side. Like, this is 50 seconds that the attackers have to get a plant down. If they're able to remove all of the plant denial, nice C4 from Mute. Mute probably knows, Dan, probably has studied the routine of Pengu and Fabian when it comes to opening up vertically, and gets a very nice C4 kill there. Mozzie's going to rotate in too. He probably has a C4 as well. We'll see if that nets a C4 kill. Alright, so one Evil Eye dead, one Yokai dead. Pengu probably just removed a Yokai as well after being drunked, or didn't do his job as IQ. No Yokai blasts. No Evil Eye stuns. You just gotta gun them out. And that's just a great example of why smoke is so important. Maestro right now is trying to retake vertically. He knows there's a player vertically in piano. If he's able to remove the player all the way out in, say, the garage wall, it doesn't matter, because the player above in piano is going to get a very easy kill onto him while he's defusing. So he needs to push this vertically. He needs to win that gunfight. He doesn't. Well played by G2, well played by the player trying to retake. I think that was Karzeka. No, it was Shepard.
pretty much opened up the top 2 floors. They took
But
control of them. They started opening things
G2
up.
gets the plant down, and you don't have the denial, you don't have the smoke in order to stop the plant. So Empire needs to play their the plant denial more conservatively. Same lineup from G2. This time Empire is going to come with Legion, and then 6 onto the Valk. I think Legion would have been great. Legion is another form of plant denial, another time waster that could replace in some way smoke. Also, from G2 side, a EMP would remove all this utility. And you could bring, say, Buck, and you could swap Buck or a Sledge for a Thatcher with breaching charges and do a lot of the same. Second floor defense for Team Empire. I saw reinforcement on connector, as well as one towards front desk. There are 2 on private bathroom, and this is very characteristic of Team Empires, but they reinforce the triple wall in meeting. Most teams only reinforce 2 walls. The reason why I think Team Empire reinforces 3 is because at Rally, we saw them at one point going on the main stairs rappel or banana rappel, and they set up crossfires into meeting when they execute from meeting balcony. So they think it's an important reinforcement to make because they use this strategy, and that's one way to counter what they do. I think we also see, well, we definitely see one on copy room, and then I think there's one on the admin wall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Most likely the last one will be on yellow stairs then. This C4 is supposed to land towards the copy room. It's a nice little throw. The attacking strategy from G2 there, or at least the relevant pieces in the win, after it became a 5v3, is you had a player on the console rappel watching extremely long angles into console front desk as well as connector. You had Pengu then looking from connector rappel into meeting. That's a kill. But that also goes quite far into, again, console front desk, and potentially also site itself in console. But more importantly, the player, Buck, who was on the console rappel, then rotates over to yellow skylight. And he's able to get an angle down into the player who's playing back on console. The Echo on Team Empire is positioned somewhere around private bathroom and is playing the long angle to contest the Visa entrance into meeting, and does so effectively. At least that's a kill, but we're playing a 5v1, so he's not gonna do much. I've always thought that these barbed wires that Team Empire puts down are a little silly, just because if they walk in there, then who cares if it's slow? They can plant. Same defensive strat from Empire. Interesting that Empire does an off-site reinforcement on a basement defense here on private bathroom, sorry. So I guess we found our 8th reinforcement for their basement defense, since it's a lot of the same look with even the Echo on Spiral.
Inside of the hallway, so it kind of gives them information on anybody entering the window from there, because a lot of times you'll see somebody pressuring at some point.
Also worth noting that these two are a pair in Karzeka and Joystick on Mozzie and Jaeger respectively, and will be supporting each other during the roam. They have options to drop their positions too.
If they can stay alive a little bit longer this time, Karzeka gonna have to maybe cover for Joystick.
Get someone from G2 side on an outside sort of overwatch position, looking into piano, and you can deny the hatch drop from Jaeger while you pinch Jaeger up top just by placing Pengu, who's already there, on the console rappel, and the Sledge, as we saw earlier, pushing through meeting. I also think it's interesting that G2 hasn't brought Jackal yet. A lot of teams do to help with roam clear, and there's a huge priority on doing that from G2 here, getting rid of Jaeger. I feel like, if anything, it gives me more credibility in thinking that Jackal is just not as good as a lot of people think he is. I'd almost always rather have nades that could have some kind of splash damage than just knowing where a player is when every player has 2 drones to do just that. At a minute, G2 has established control of the first floor finally, which is a bit late, especially considering you haven't opened up the garage wall yet and seemingly haven't removed any plant denial. That's probably the bigger problem. This time we see the Evil Eye in the corner, we see the Yokai drone drunking Pengu, and this time Empire wins the round. It's funny because that round made me think that Jackal's not that great. You don't need Jackal, but then it took G2 too long to figure out that joystick wasn't roaming anymore and was playing in sight. So perhaps I recant what I had just said. Operator lineups. They're bringing out the Thatcher. They have the Hibana. The reason being is it's a second floor attack. You're not going to be able to thermite much, not at least safely. And Hibana is an operator who can hard breach from a distance, so great utility for doing what Thermite can't do. Same lineup from Empire. This time we have a Legion instead of the Mozzie. A 6 from the Mute onto the Valkyrie. Very interesting. This so Mute plus Mozzie are the only other 2 operators that Empire has brought, aside from the lineup they're bringing right now, which I think is interesting on Consulate. That means that they literally play with 7 operators on defense, and then I guess Smoke would be the other operator they would bring, but he's banned. Legion, I think, is a great pick, but not so great when there's a Thatcher, and his EMP can remove anything in a 5-meter radius. But more concerning is the fact that the Mute's not being brought, and Mute is important for creating soft destruction, so less of that from Team Empire this round, I suppose. Hibana sees Jaeger, who is in Piano. He's got a lot of soft destruction. I think he has to shoot that out, or maybe the Valkyrie deagled it. In any case, cool little hold that the Jaeger has here in Piano. Very easily pinched though. There's no way to rotate. A nade could easily dislodge the Jaeger. Hibana decides to just run up yellow stairs instead. Canton used to use his frag grenade to push out Jaeger, or can rather, without losing any health. Where is the pinch from G2? Alright, so here we go. Plant's going down. Sledge is just going to hold the Jaeger. So G2 establishes a player on console rappel once again. They have Hibana playing in private bathroom, and so she can make plays onto yellow stairs or also moving into console front desk. And then they have a player who is on rappel of the connector, and they planted, I believe, in the default spot behind the desk in console. As you can see from the arrows, there's really no way to contest this plant. Actually, there is one way, and that's using the soft destruction that I believe is created. Maybe not, because the Mute wasn't brought to enable it, but a player can deny plant from top of yellow stairs. Of course, that can't happen if Habana, who is playing in private bathroom, denies that player from shooting from there. We saw a run out from Team Empire on the Legion to contest the Repeller, but Pengu on IQ actually was ready for it, and so that run out was unsuccessful. Same ops from G2, same ops from Empire, except instead of the Legion, we have the Mute. So that's soft destruction, vital to the setup. The plant that G2 does is one that we've seen TSM do quite a bit. So they want to plant in meeting room. What they need is to establish a player on the top of Visa stairs in order to hold the connector door, because that's the only way that this plant will be denied, as well as an angle onto long desk held from just outside copy room. And that's because there's consistently going to be some kind of soft destruction on the 4th meeting wall, where Team Empire has reinforced the 3 meeting panels. So this is what really is needed from G2 in order to execute their plant correctly. 3 players in position. As a luxury, you have a player on the console repel in order to just strengthen these crossfires. But again, that's luxury. That's the Buck or Fabian there. What will end up happening is, because there's no hold underneath or plant support underneath, the plant will actually get denied post plant, or Goga, the planter, will die post plant because the Mute gets the C4 on this very predictable spot. So well done from Team Empire, or Mute Dan, but a little too late. I would guess that the 5th player from G2, as again a luxury, is probably going to hold the angles from meeting balcony. And that is again just because we want as many crossfires as possible. But let's talk post plant, because post plant, what we see is a player holding from on top of spiral, great angle here in order to cover the diffuser, as well as a player who will play in admin. This wall is reinforced initially, but they breach it with Habana. So this player in admin gets a deep angle all the way from admin onto diffuser. A player on balcony too, because hey, we're planning a meeting, we should have as much coverage in meeting as possible. And I believe that is it as far as post plant. Really though, the highlight of the post plant strategy is this player in admin that has that super long angle from admin into meeting. How do you contest that? Very difficult, if not impossible. So let's watch the execute. Buck, Fabian on the console repel as luxury. The sledge actually gets dropped by the Jaeger. Then Habana on Visa stairs, who's supposed to cover the player from and looking into connector doorway, gets the refrag.
Nitro on Goga, but it's going to be inconsequential here as the plant has been CC'd, as they say. Dan with a quick kill on the Claymore, but there's nobody nearby. He's going to be detected.
IQ on meeting balcony. Somehow gets that kill. Buck rotates and goes to spiral stairs, cuts off the rotation because Mute's detected from the run out. The rotation back into building. Finds one headshot on Fabian. That's one clear that he required, but he's so low on HP right now. And Habana's out of position here. She doesn't need to be playing so aggressive, but it doesn't matter because Sledge in admin is holding that long angle onto the diffuser. G2 brings both hard breachers instead of one hard breacher and Thatcher. I think that either combination is good. But G2 in the past has brought Habana and not opened up hatches on a basement attack. Hopefully we see something different from Uno, because last time that was Pengu. Every single round we've seen Jaeger play in console. No one's on console repel this time. And everyone is on the east side. We'll see if they rotate a player over there. Actually, I think you have Buck on Yellow Skylight trying to get a deep angle into console. Cool little pinch there from G2. One comes from meeting, one comes from the long desk. Minute 30. Roamer's dead. Not terrible. That's actually kind of the mark at which you expect a roamer to die. You just kind of hope that they take someone else down with them. Okay. In the past, we have seen, I believe, achieved on TSM, open up a vertical angle from the top of Banana down onto Spiral Staircase to deny any kind of player playing aggressively in that position. Buck and Sledge, who both have nades, are going to push into Spiral to contest the Echo here. Echo lands some awesome shots, let's be clear. But watch as Sledge sprints into the doorway in order to swing onto the Echo. When you sprint, you can't ADS as quickly. So, yeah, Echo is going to flick onto your head. Also, you had nades. Also, you have the ability to create vertical pressure. And Fabian does one step better. Doesn't cook the nade properly. And pushes into that Spiral Staircase. What a mistake.
Pengu would love to have extra manpower for the So Dan finds Goga, so that's one kill. He gets traded off. Pengu takes no.
Dan plays in that very aggressive position right by Yellow Stairs because both exothermic charges have not been used.
No damage in the engagement, and Uno, he threads it, finds Shepard in the back.
They don't have any way to remove the... Well, if Uno doesn't get that frag onto Shepard, then they don't have any way to deny the Evil Eyes from hitting them during plant. Scyther here on Echo, I believe doesn't have any more yokais. And is able to clutch up the round. Great job from Scyther, and this is why. He needs to first challenge the player who's not planting, and that's exactly what he does. He challenges the player covering plant because that player has a gun, whereas the planter doesn't have a gun and is bent over planning. Anyway, Pengu needs to look up very quickly and get ready for a gunfight. It's a very difficult gunfight to win. But well done from Scyther. Wow. So, recall G2 banned Nook. G2 brings Valkyrie. It would have been affected by the Nook. The dock, potentially with a deployable camera. And that's it. There are still the two. And they also bring two ACOG operators in Dock and Rook. On the attacking side, we see Nomad as a way to prevent flanks. IQ because of the Valkyrie. Sophia and Ashe are just great for creating more lines of sight. As I mentioned before, Consulate, a very long map, so you get to see a lot more angles with that soft destruction, and you do it safely. During the prep phase, G2 reinforces in a very interesting way. They reinforce the panel and cabinet that would normally be used to give you an angle from Yellow Stairs into denying the plant on console repel or console. That's the first thing. Doesn't end there. They reinforce the wall in private bathroom. This is expected, as well as a reinforcement on connector and console front desk. That's whatever. Soft destruction from yellow, as well as the rotate that we always see into meeting. There are then 2 reinforcements on copy room. The reason for these reinforcements is to mitigate the power of the copy room repel. There's also a reinforcement on break room. And I don't know what that reinforcement stops. Maybe you put a player in break room. Unclear to me. But those are the reinforcements that I saw. Obviously gonna be a admin hold to start the round. The problem with admin is this. So you can have a repeller here who covers, I mean, pretty much freaking everything. You can have a repeller here who covers, well, again, pretty much freaking everything. But also you can cut the rotates out of admin so easily from the admin repel in front desk and copy room if you have a player copy room. There's just really nowhere to go. We'll see if this seemingly counter-strat to a team who often enters through admin, works. G2 is obviously contesting the entry. We call that the gotcha spot, or I've called it the gotcha spot in the past. Gotcha was the first player that I know who played in this spot during, I don't know what game. But what's really cool is G2 is actually supplementing the gotcha spot. So when gotcha played in this position, he sat there for 2 minutes and denied the entry of whatever team they were playing for those whole 2 minutes. But G2 actually has the Doc who be able to stem the Jaeger in that spot. Very cool from G2 in order to hold this more effectively. The other big thing too is how is Team Empire going to dislodge this player? You have Zofia and Ashe with maybe the most lethal projectiles. I guess you can Ashe charge or Zofia launch the Jaeger in the spot. The other option is that you can go underneath and try to contest him from Visa. If I'm G2, I also have some kind of roamer there. In Visa, either with a pre-placed C4 of the Visa door, or just in Visa, ready for a gunfight for when Ashe or Zofia try to take the Jaeger out of that spot vertically. You know what you can also do is if no one's watching it, you just climb up Visa stairs and shoot Jaeger. But probably unlikely that Pengu, who looks like he's in meeting, wouldn't swing on that player.
You're sure there's somebody there, but because he's really prone,
tons of ADSs being burned, lots of flashes being thrown. There's that cheeky angle that the Doc has onto the Jaeger.
Should have ADSs to protect him in this position as well. Maybe at least one left. No, Kanto's dead. Can't heal him now.
So Kanto's dead at the 2-minute mark. Not worth what they were trying to do.
Well done. Yeah, that was it. Perfect. No, he can't.
The first thing to note is the Valkyrie is on the bottom of Visa stairs, but Kanto's already dead, so I'm not sure what she's doing there.
Was that a shot from below? Yeah, he used one love line and then killed
the other thing to note is, I hope we get more clarity. It's a little blurry on my screen, but so Zofia opened up vertically and shot the Jaeger from underneath. That's how they chose to deal with that.
Well done. Yeah, That was it, perfect.
You know he can't move.
I don't know if Jaeger doesn't move and really plays in that corner, I think he actually gets away with sitting there.
They already passed them. Drone will come in right.
Hard to say.
And Uno still alive.
We found another reinforcement just now. Another on copy door. Tons of utility being thrown at these two players. The denial of their entry did not work. And when you're playing with a two-man disadvantage for the entirety of 2 minutes, very difficult to come back. This time around, though, what does G2 bring? Every single ACOG operator that is available in Maestro, Echo, Doc, Rook. The Mozzie as a way to use soft destruction and I suppose slow down the push instead of, say, a Mute, who would have done the same thing, actually. From Team Empire, same attacking lineup. Interesting that we never saw from Team Empire, who was struggling so much defensively, a lobby and piano defense. Clearly not comfortable there. On the lobby and piano defense, the reinforcements that I caught are 2 in meeting. Remember, this is a off-site vertical hold, typically, when playing on the site. So 2 in meeting, and then 1 connector. That's all I saw on the top floor. There was some soft destruction also down onto yellow. I forget which side, but I believe it's just contesting when walking up yellow. Then on the first floor, and I wish I could spot the other 2 reinforcements, but fairly simple. So 2 on the press room, 2 on the public bathroom, 1 more, and another on this west corridor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm missing 1 reinforcement, and I don't know where it is. I could guess that it's in public bathroom. It could be an antechamber. Who knows? Anyway, a vertical hold from G2.
That was very true. Looking at G2 in the previous round, yes, it was so great how Kajika was able to deal with Kento Raketti, but Scyther finds Kento again. Oh my, the Doc lost. That Rook and Doc combination from G2.
Visa stairs pressure from the Zofia, and also the Nomad. 1 looking all the way into meeting, and another looking down onto Visa stairs. This is such an important C4. The way you contest meeting balcony is C4, and that's why the Mozzie brings, well, C4. But more importantly, that's why the Mozzie is playing in this position. In order to do that, I know Dan is very proficient on that meeting repel. I think it's a very awkward repel. But anyway, Pengu gets the frag. You don't need to peek that repel though. And Pengu doesn't. He just throws a C4. Trying to pinch Pengu here. They know he's in meeting, but you know what Pengu has is a little help from his friend all the way in private bathroom to stop Nomad from peeking into meeting. Nice support, nice crossfires from G2. So Ash died, and they rotate the Thermite back onto meeting balcony repel. Must be very important for their attack strategy. Scyther, who is on console repel, finally gets so they've established a pinch. The way that Team Empire is pinching is they have a player on service stairs, they have a player on console repel, and a player on meeting balcony. Crossfires look like bam, 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 bam. Anyway, Mozzie most likely tries to rotate either out of long or into connector, but Team Empire is just kind of tightening that vice as they slowly are able to establish or re-establish their pressure from meeting balcony. And so IQ catches Pengu with a Mozzie rotating out. So I initially thought that what happened is Maestro ran out on yellow because IQ didn't have a Claymore and Nomad was pushing from the east side and therefore not able to put an air jab on his yellow run out, on IQ's yellow run out. But actually what happened is Maestro, all the way on spiral stairs, has an angle in order to contest the repeller on console window. And that's the kill. Nice shot from Maestro.
Almost making up for a lot of his early deaths.
Bam.
Remember, this is not all the way down to Garage.
Nemesis. Yeah, this is not Garage. This is just one floor down.
Yeah, so holding on to the top is so great. Oh my god, Fabian gets slapped. Shepard finds
So
him.
Shepard relays to the team that there's a player on spiral staircase, and Shepard is there to cut off any kind of rotate down.
Shepard finds him. It's now need all 4 yokai bursts and just survive, and this will reveal that there's still one left. Skadjik got dropped. Now go for the second one. The yokais are giving information to Uno. It's definitely possible here. 18 seconds left as he turns around. The fuser's not being said just yet. Not sure if the yokai has been killed or not. Somebody should be watching the hatch above. Oh, he finds the kill. Now Uno run away. He can just stay back. 4 seconds left. Joystick comes around low on HP. He's too far.
Plant strategy from Team Empire. Someone hold the long angle in the east corridor and cut off any rotates. Then have the plant go down on the front door while we support you vertically, I believe, from the hatch. Problem is, the Echo, who is coming from Spiral, the bottom of Spiral, drunks the planter. The player who was in East Corridor shot a bullet, and so Uno is able to pre-fire that player, rotates West Corridor all the way into Antechamber, and then gets the frag onto Planner. What does he do then? He runs into public bathroom and hides, because that's how you win a game. Echo doesn't need to engage in a gunfight in order to win, so why take the risk? Run and hide. The Nomad, who's on the second floor, is just not going to be able to do anything unless she pre-fires and just predicts exactly where you're playing. Nomad should probably be covering from the lobby entrance in order to more easily refrag than above on hatch. During Mozzie's prep phase, he creates this rotate out from garage onto the staircase in order to contest the rappels on the south side. I love this kind of stuff. So, what am I talking about? If you run out of garage, there's this staircase right here that gives you angles onto every rappel that really matters during the execute, and lots of different executes too. The first one that I want to talk about is connector. So this is a way to counter what G2 does. You run out of this garage and you'll see the connector rappel pretty quickly. But if you go even deeper than that, you can see the meeting balcony rappel. We have 2 C4 operators in Valkyrie and Mozzie that can throw C4 out onto the meeting balcony as a way to deny meeting balcony, and we've seen that be effective earlier with Mozzie onto the Ash. But also we want ways to run out too, because it's just a cheeky way to get a kill, right? And what you might not know is that there's actually guardrails right here that make this run out a lot safer, despite you being detected before you can actually shoot the player on the meeting rappel. So I like the use of that soft destruction from G2.
Empire, of course, will be going back in. This is the same defense set up in terms of at least, I imagine that's Kanto playing that corner again. He's got to expect Karzeka to come in there. Is that going to be a bait here? Are they waiting for him to try and hit him from above this time? Dan trying to do a little bit of damage here. I like this idea with the breaching charge, but they've got to make sure those ADSs are cleared out. Here it goes. ADSs are cleared out by the flashbangs. And there we go. That is going to do enough damage to down him. Really well played.
As much as I feel like it's worth noting that despite Kanto dying at the 2-minute mark, Empire just threw a total of like 6 flashes, and all of Zophia's lifeline launcher utility is gone. That feels significant. Great example of why it's always important to open up that admin wall, not only for post plant, but also just to cut off this rotate up these stairs. I mean, he's nearly able to get a frag on Joystick, the Nomad. If he removes that Nomad air jab and then swings onto Nomad, who thinks that she's safe sitting near Soda. What Valkyrie doesn't know is that there's a player who's an admin.
Shot into the wall and then shot in the face. And that's the end of it for him.
Long angle from private bathroom is what nets that kill onto Nomad.
Saving Pengu. Joystick gets taken off. Pengu turns around and fires in.
Big mistake from Karzeka on Zofia. No more utility from Ashe in order to hop in here and refrag appropriately. That usage of Jaeger in that corner of admin is suddenly very relevant.
He's just collecting them all.
Empire overused their utility that round to push Jaeger out of admin. If Jaeger was also Jaeger tricking, then all the credit in the world to what G2 set up to do there, because it won them the round. Pengu could not have played in meetings so easily if there wasn't that utility sap from the attacker side. Which makes sense because they don't bring grenades. Grenades would also be a great way, or Capitao, who they ban all the time, would be a great way to dislodge the player in admin. So just a well done job from G2 this time around to do the counter strategy they wanted to do correctly. Or if not correctly, at least in a way that won them the game. Swapping out the Thatcher, the reason being, well, I feel threatened by the Bandit. So Kanto contests that repel, knows that the refrag attempt will most likely come out after this drone. What a sick shot. And almost is able to stop this refrag. What I think is interesting is Empire reestablishes the console repel immediately after the Ashe dies. So it's clearly very important. And also Karzeka on Zofia is still pinching from meeting. Those two steps, the console repel and then the pinch from meeting, are clearly in the playbook for Empire. Mozzie could have dropped console hatch instead of continuing to play that position. You've done your job. You got 2 picks. Play the man advantage. You don't have enough soft breach because Ashe and the Nomad are supposed to be those players to do that. So these anchors are playing very predictable spots and are able to continue to play there because that soft breach doesn't exist. Good game from Empire. Something I'd like to see on their attack is a nade operator. I think could have helped a lot, especially since G2 was consistently pushing back that admin entry. From a defensive standpoint, they got destroyed on those repels. There needs to be some kind of run out on repellers, but it's difficult to do when you're playing with a man disadvantage. I think that Karzeka was or a Scyther, I forget who exactly, but one of their players was the first kill almost every single round. On G2's side, Kanto needs to use his nades. I know Fabian did quite a lot. I know Pengu. Pengu never cooks his nades, so maybe he's not really the nade player either. But Kanto definitely isn't. If what he's going to try to do is run into Spiral and try to just out-aim an Echo who knows that there's players right outside Spiral. I think, in general, G2 was just more prepared for this match. We didn't really see any counter-strats that I could detect from Empire. And there's two philosophies for how you kind of train for a match, right? You can either get yourself better, really refine your own strategies, which I think is what Empire does, or you can counter-strat, and that's what G2 did. And I think this is a testament to the notion that planning against a team is stronger than just trying to be better with the strategies you have, because the strategies you have are predictable, and counter-stratting exploits the weaknesses in those strategies. Karzeka was that opening kill almost every single round, or most likely based on what the scoreboard shows. Joystick didn't really show up, but also he was consistently getting pinched from G2 and isolated because Karzeka was dying so early, and he didn't have that support. They really do put Joystick on an island and expect him to do a lot. He needs to have more help, but maybe it would have been different if Karzek is alive. Good game to both teams. Obviously, two of the best in the world. Can't wait to see more from both. Monday, Pro League is back with another playday. Coverage continues. Thanks for all the feedback. I really appreciate it. And take care.